Chat room, let us know when you can see and hear us. Hey, I see us on Twitch.
See.
Yes, I do want to do an ad here at a bunch of people. That's my prerogative. Okay.
And Mew, thank you. We're sorry about the maybe, we don't know yet, situation.
Yeah.
No biggie. Planning on anything today anyway.
Other than avoiding the heat.
Yeah. A big part of it.
All right. Chat room, let us know if you can see and hear us if there is a chat room.
If not, we can see our hand ourselves.
I know.
So we're just going to go from there.
Yep, exactly.
Here, can we hear ourselves? I'll turn this up.
Yep. No, Lucy's typing. Yay!
Yay! Thank you, Lucy!
All right. So, Mew, you are leading this monkey show whenever you
It's
are
you!
ready.
It's Mew!
How unfortunate. All right.
Doomed!
Doomed!
Alrighty. I have a coffee beverage. We're good to go.
Yeah,
All right.
So do I, right here.
Okay, starting in 5, 4, 3. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
We have your Summer of Love schedule.
Summer is everything's on fire. I mean, patch season.
Huh? Same difference.
Hot time summer in the shredder.
Thank you for getting what I wrote there, sir. Happy 4th anniversary to our buddies over at the Fleet Action Report.
Ooh.
And we are talking amongst ourselves, which means Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail chat. No spoilers.
All that and no spoilers coming up right about now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 424 of the podcast celebrating you, the Alea Iacta-S gaming community. The Die Has Been podcast. This is Mew Cow, and I greet you guildies on this very warm summer day.
Mm-hmm.
But in an even warmer area, to my virtual left is Makala.
It's okay. We don't have humidity, except for right now. We have humidity, and I want to wilt. Anyways, hey guys, anyone know when fig season is? Because I really need to have those dark chocolate fig cakes in the guild kitchen.
Did you check the freezer for the figs we froze?
They're not going to be good for cakes. They're only good for jam.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, jam on it.
Yes.
Damn 'em. And to her right and downstairs is Tetsemi.
Hello, guildies. I have developed new spreadsheets because, of course, Final Fantasy XIV new expansion.
Yep. And this week we are talking amongst ourselves.
Hi, selves.
Welcome, selves.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Yeah.
you.
Yes, we are our own company. But we're going to dig into things shortly after this week's news.
AIE News.
All right, guys. We might not all love summer, but we do love Summer of Love. And we have your list of events. We have in WoW Retail, Saturday, 7:27 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. WoW Trivia with Gusty Tales in Discord, New Braid's Prime Channel. And on Sunday, 7:28 at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, What's the Buzz? D&D with Mammoth. And there's info to sign up in the AIE Discord under D&D with Mammoth. On Monday, the 29th, we have at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Help! I'm locked out of my mage tower. D&D with Duskmeyer. Info and sign up in the AIE Discord channel. You guessed it, D&D with Duskmeyer. Please sign up early so DMs can answer any questions and be able to prepare better, because there's nothing like sitting down to game and having too many or too few players. And so it looks like Tuesday night for now is a break, but on Wednesday on the 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Remix Race. There'll be speed leveling Pandera Remix Alt 270. And on the 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Lore Night with Anira. We gather in various locations to tell a story of our characters or something in WoW. The previous event was a lot of fun. And, of course, on the 2nd at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, Remembrance Day, our most holy of holidays. Meet at the Shrine of the Fallen outside the Crossroads to remember friends and family, and then parade to Orgrimmar for fireworks and barbecue.
Yep. And in WoW news, there is a big content patch coming with warbands, skywriting, aka dragon riding for the other flying mounts, new quests. The War Within pre-expansion content update goes live July 23rd, and since the the expansion goes live in August, it's going to be what, 3 to 4 weeks, I think. So
something like that.
Yep. And it's one of those, from what I've seen on the PTR, it's run around, kill a bunch of small things, then run around, kill a bunch of medium things, and then run around and kill the big thing.
And Lucy says it's 4 weeks, by the way.
Okay, perfect. That's what I figured.
Thank you, Lucy, for that late-breaking news.
Yes. Calendar math is hard. All right.
Yes.
Yep. And it sounds like a lot of systems are switching over around then, too. If you have any characters you have in multiple Battle.net accounts, because that used to be a thing, get it done now, because apparently once the pre-launch goes live, all that goes away and you're stuck in your own little corners.
Yep. Also, if you have any characters that you've deleted that you need to restore, that needs to be done before this hits, because once warbands come in, they have to refactor the back end of how to restore a deleted character. So.
Yep. Yeah, that's why all that stuff is just going to go. Pfft,
yeah.
And they're starting anew. So. WoW 3.0, everybody. Woohoo. Speaking of WoW and numbers and whatnot, WoW Classic. Life has been fairly quiet on the Cataclysm Classic front. Many have been playing the Pandaria Remix, myself included. And the Stale Puffed raid team will be a retail raid team in the War Within. So they're making the jump over, I see. Mm-hmm. The War Within, or T-Dub as apparently someone's calling it, looks to be amazing. So they will remain in Classic Worlds, but with a very reduced presence. The lights will remain on, but probably won't be many people online. If anyone needs to reach anyone over there for anything, please reach out in the hashtag WoW Classic channel and ping in @officer there. They remain happy to help out as they can, but the cadence will be very slow-paced. And they might come back, but who knows? I guess Cataclysm has killed the game yet again.
Wow. Cataclysm was a cataclysm twice? Mm-hmm. Okay. And in SOTOR news, it's summer in a galaxy far, far away, and that means it's time for Nashada Nightlight. They did some group gambling during MFN last week and traded tips and tricks for the event. Warzone Wednesday was on the pub side this week, and Friday Frolics was a GSF night. Stask was the flyer, and Lucy and Seema were cheering him on.
All right. And in ESO, the last few weeks have been spent working on new scribing questline and clearing the overland portion of the new zone. Kramer has all of the Mundus stones and crafting stations available at his primary residence. Feel free to stop by and use them if you need to. And a reminder, Summer of Love is coming up soon. Stay tuned for more information on events that will be held in ESO, such as a D&D one-shot and a trial night.
Is it going to be a real one-shot? Or like a one-shot the way our group does one-shots, which is usually 3 or 4 shots?
Depends on how much talking is done.
Ooh, excellent.
Right, and in slightly cooler areas of the world in Final Fantasy XIV.
Let's see what you did there.
The Tuesday is the first patch of Dawn Trail, and for those that might be listening later, that'll be the 16th of July. The first 4 of the new 8-man raid series will be dropping, as well as new limited tome gear. We'll be talking about that a little bit more later with all those fun details, but that's the big hits for now.
Yep.
All right. And STO, our buddies over at Fleet Action Report, celebrated its 4th anniversary. Congrats. And from the folks over there, thank you for all the support. The summer event has started in STO, and the free ship this year is the Volvan Obelisk Carrier. It is currently said to have one of the best consoles in the game. There are all kinds of new items in the summer event store, from a new kit frame to a rainbow melanoid slime non-combat pat. Ooh, that sounds fun. Or a rainbow version of Murph from Prodigy.
That's cool. In Lord of the Rings Online, lots of things on the horizon. We're about a week and a half away from Update 41. Later in August will be a new instance as part of the celebration of the Year of the Dragon. Also rumored, Lord of the Rings Online official Discord is in the works, and they will try and have it out hopefully in September. Lastly, the 2 new legendary servers are still expected to go live this month. There's a lot more coming, so as not to take up too much time, stay tuned for more fun kinship stuff.
And believe it or not, that was all of the news.
Yay!
So now we're going to switch over and find out what these crazy hosts have been going up to.
Yeah. I think everyone's too busy playing to create news.
News.
Yes.
Yep. Lots
Too
of
busy
planning
playing
on the
to
back
news.
end.
Yes.
Yep. But let's see what's been going on in virtual and real worlds with one Makala.
All right. Well, I did a little con last weekend. It's a small gaming con called Crit Hit. Think about kind of like the size of Nerdtacular before we moved to Snowbird. So back when we were at Noah's. 300-person con, maybe, with a focus on gaming. So a lot of time like in between customers, but it's a great time. If you're ever in the Phoenix area in July, I definitely suggest it. Really great people, cool vendors. And like the thing I love about it is all the vendors are artists and artisans and crafters. So it's not like a big con where you're going to have a Funko booth and you're going to have the commercial booths. So what a great time. We met a lot of folks, returning customers, new customers, and friends. So that was our big focus the last few weeks. Also, since we've been getting stuff onto the website, except for the dice necklaces, we still need to figure out how we're going to do those, which terrifies me. It terrifies me.
It's fine. We'll figure it out.
It's fine. It's fine.
We'll start with the dominoes and the ovals and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. In gaming news, we're almost done with Call of Cthulhu. Almost. We have like one more session, and we are dealing with one of our player characters has so little sanity left that hanging on by a thread. And that thread is very perilous. Like the good news is that's kind of helpful because she thinks she's the chosen one, and now that she's consumed vampire blood, she has extra powers which kind of help propel her insanity. So yeah, that's a good time. We got to the scary vampire baron's castle. May or may not be a vampire. Well, it is. We consider it a vampire, but it's Lovecraftian, so who knows exactly. Found a bunch of people massacred, so that was fun. Which they had over for dinner. They had a bunch of townspeople over for dinner.
And then they had them for dinner. Had
them for dinner, yes. Then we got to the underground tunnels, and the ritual is about to happen. We happen to have, luckily on our side, our beloved preacher and our con artist have had the vampire blood that we took off some people that we had fought while trying to restore the power to the town. So we have basically 2 superpowered folks that have taken their end. It's at the end of the game. It's the boss battle. You better drink that potion.
Well, and mainly because my character visited the Dirty 30 Club, and basically I had like 46 luck left. And the fight before the boss, the penultimate fight, I got a really good shot in and just took out one of the 2 baddies, which was the more deadly of the 2 we found out later.
Yes.
Baddies. But the 2 that we were fighting were in a romantic relationship. So when the one saw the other one go down, let's just say Barbarian Rage has nothing on what happened. And
yeah.
I had 11 hit points left and took 13. So at that point in Call of Cthulhu, if you have over 30 luck left, you spend all of it, drop to 0 luck, and then you stay alive at 1 hit point. So at that point, to recover, I had to take the vampire blood vial, and it slowly restored my hit points, because that's the only way in this setting, in this version of the game, that I could get back a reasonable amount of hit points, because it finally restored 20 hit points. So I actually ended up with more hit points than I entered the fight with.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because in this particular type of game, healing, so there's first aid, which does 1 hit point, or there's medicine, which takes an hour and does 3. And then after that, it's all natural healing. So this is the closest thing we have to a health potion in this game. So we have 2 that have had these potions. So their strength is up, their agility is up, they have their speed is up. So it's great. And we're dealing with a god of darkness, but they're trying to summon a god called Nocturnus. And I'm a little witch with a light spell. So we're hoping that becomes a critical piece. So yeah, that's where that is. We have 1 session left. Star Wars this week, real interesting. Basically, the island of Dr. Monroe Imperial side.
Yep.
Except the Doctor is my character's creator. And we actually did find a room full of her clones. My character's clones, but she's also a clone. So all of her siblings. We have been fighting some really mutated stuff. We had to make some really hard decisions. This session, basically, this horrible thing is mutated and is in pain and wants to hurt everybody. And do you release it? Or do you put it, to be a distraction to your enemies? Or do you do the humane thing and put it out of its misery? And we chose to put it out of its misery, though there was a debate. We did save some other mutated humanoids and basically said, you can't come with us because they're going to be after us, but get whoever you can out.
Makes sense.
So that was good. Let's see what else. Dabbled a little in Candela Obscura this week.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. Modern setting.
We have a friend who loves Lovecraftian horror. One of our mutuals, gal in one of our groups, he said, "Hey, take a look at this system. It looks great." So we're doing. I think we only played for like an hour and a half, but it's a good time. It's a fun system. I need to wrap my head around the fact that it's very malleable.
Yeah, because it's more of a storytelling than D&D dice determine the results. It's more of you only roll the dice at critical junctures. So a lot of it is storytelling. Like my character's going to go examine this and this is why. Or when we do roll dice, like Heather was looking for what's called bleed, which is the weird leaking into our reality. Well, I have a bleed detector, so I could use my bleed detector to point her to a location so she could focus on that location, and that gave her an extra dice when she rolled her challenges or her actions. So it's a very collaborative, very interesting system.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. I'm gonna go check on something on dinner real quick while you two start talking about well, I'll let you two get started. I'll be right back.
So we'll start with Tets then and see how his side of things have been.
Yeah. Well, before Dawn Trail launched, I got Final Fantasy. No, sorry, it's a 4. There's a 4 in there. Diablo 4. That's what it was.
Yes,
I got my first character to 100, which was a seasonal character, just going through the rework. And once Dawn Trail hit, then that got set to the side, and I may go back to that because I'm still working on my original launch character to thanks McCullough, to get them to 100 as well, but retrofitting a character from basically original character to season 4 gear and then redoing all their stats and stuff like that, it's quite a bit of work to get them current. So I think they're at like 82 now. They were at 68 when I left the game and then came back for season 4. So that's been fun. And then Dawn Trail launched, and that's about all I've been focused on. I have made it through the main story quest and finished that. I have my dancer. I took my dancer through. Dancer's at 100. My bard is at 92. I realized too late I was going to hit 100 in the 5th zone, and by that time you can't turn in main story quests on characters unless they're like within 3 levels. I think it was like 95, and my bard was too far back, so I was having to turn in all the non-MSQ quests on the bard to keep them leveling, and then just turn in the MSQ on the main character. But yeah, I should have planned better, but I never planned better for that sort of thing.
Planning, what's that?
Yeah, I went and unlocked, once I finished the MSQ, I went and unlocked Pictomancer and tried that out. That is an interesting class. I don't know that I understand it as well as I'd like to, but it looks like it's going to be a fun class to play around with. Viper, on the other hand, I unlocked and went, oh, I understand this completely. This is fun. Let's go. So we'll have to see if I get the Viper or my Bard to 100 next, but I suspect it'll probably be the Viper because I did the role quest on the Bard, which is for level 70, so 2 expansions ago. It was just physical DPS, so you could do it on a melee or a ranged physical DPS. And then when we went to last expansion, they broke it out into melee physical DPS and ranged physical DPS, and then carried that forward to this expansion as well. So I've done the role quest for Dancer, which took care of physical range DPS for that, and so now I just need to get the Viper to 85, and then I can go start the Endwalker role quest for physical DPS. So that's probably my next goal after I work on my gathering and crafting stuff. So I got my Carpenter, which is my main crafting character, to 100 through the role quest for them. And I like how they split up the role quest for the crafting and gathering. Fishing and then botany and mining were always separate, so you always had those two. But then they took the main quests, the main classes for crafting, and broke it up into I think 3 different sections. So I got my character through 100 on carpentry, finish that. That last build for that quest turn in is rough in the current gear, even with consumables, but I got it. And then I just hit 98 on my botanist, and about to do that level 98 quest. And then I will do I've got basically, I don't know, have you dabbled at all with the crafting and gathering?
Not too much. I mean, I kind of ran around and did a little bit of cotton gathering, but it seems a lot slower. Like I was surprised that like I went back and just to try it out on my 90 crafters to see if the bunny quests would give any experience, and it was immediately nerfed. It gave you 1,000 experience.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, that's not going to help at all. So
yeah, what you do for what they've recommended for the botanists, the two gatherers, is don't do the level meet quest. Do just the collectibles side of it and the story, and that seemed to work really well. Getting the collectible basically to, I think it's 92 or 93. It's a little bit slow at first, but it's a free gather. You can just run around and gather that collectible as much as you want. Once you get to the next level, then there's a timer on it, and it's every half hour a legendary node appears twice in the game, so every 30 minutes basically. And then the same thing for 95 and the same thing for 98. So then at least that point, now you've got 3 legendary nodes popping about 5 minutes apart, so you can gather one, teleport, gather, and then turn them all in, and then it just speeds up from there. So once you get over that first hump to the 92 or 93 collectible, I forget what it is, with the legendary node, then it speeds up, because you can basically go farm that legendary node, go back, do the ones that are always up, wait for the alarm to go off, go get your next legendary node, and then turn it all in, and it goes. But the stories, oh man, the story. Not that I've seen people go, well, they didn't like the MSQ story as much as another expansion or whatever. I loved it. I love the MSQ. I love the crafting and gathering. I've loved the role quests for the classes. Yeah, it's all.
I think it's just one of those. It's a case of people getting off the high of, oh, we're saving the world. Oh, we're saving the universe. We're saving existence. It's like now we're just on vacation. So it's like
that sounds great.
Yeah, deal with it.
No. Vacation is when Heather. So McCullough, vacation is think Michael and vacation in a game.
Yeah.
You understand. Yeah. No, the first couple of zones are fine, and then all of a sudden it just goes for your heart and doesn't let go until the very end, until it crushes it, and then you're good. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're
I got
released.
it. I'm familiar with this. I'm familiar with that. Those situations.
Yeah, no, this time around, I think I'm avoiding the grinding of the gathering and crafting, because I did that for last expansion, and then I was max level when the tribal quest came, and I'm like, I'm just doing travel quest now, just kind of grinding that. Yeah. So I think this time around.
That's why I did. Yeah, that's why I'm doing one. I got my carpenter.
Yeah.
And I'll get my botanist in, and then I'll save the rest for. Because I don't remember, I think they typically do the gathering one first, and then in the next patch they do the crafting.
Wasn't it bunny first, and then it was the aliens?
Yeah, it could be. It could be the crafting first, and then the gathering. But regardless, I'll just.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what they do. So we'll see when they introduce that. But yeah, it's I'm kind of just taking it slow, and I agree.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the orange script to come in so I can get out of my level 80 gear and level 90 gear and into the level 100 gear. So, but that's what I have been up to. I unlocked flying in all the zones. It was interesting because I had to go and ask OMF. Wasn't there an ability that let you detect ether currents somewhere? And he's like, yeah, you got to go in this menu, this sub menu, and then it's over here. And I'm like, Oh, put that
Yeah,
back
it
on
used
my
to be an
hotbar.
item, and they turned it into a spell. And
Right.
Yeah.
And then buried it in like
Mhm.
2 menus deep, and it's like, oh, that's where that is.
To be fair, you use it at the beginning of the expansion, then you forget about it after that. So
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, so I was looking around for that. So, but yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed it. The one thing I normally have issues with is the dungeons and the telegraphing of that. They got every dungeon correct for me, for my style of play, except the second zone dungeon.
up the mountain.
Yeah, that one. I think it's the mountain one. It was just like, here's a telegraph reactor, you're dead, and it was like, what?
Oh, that's
That
not
one,
good.
and I just did that. I just did that one last night, and it's tricky. It's the telegraphs are, here is telegraphs. Okay, hold on a second. I'm going to make these not work.
Yeah,
Okay, now those are the ones that count. But I'm going to leave all the markers there. You just have to figure out which ones have canceled out.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a like, it's like, yes, technically it is last minute, but also they kind of prep you for it a little bit, and yeah. And then there's the second level of telegraphs, and then so then you get used to that, and then they say, okay, now have both telegraphs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, have fun figuring it out.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so,
that was.
but it's better than it was in the past, at least.
Oh yeah, but after that, the dungeons were really fun. Like the fifth zone, those two dungeons were really well done. The last zone, the dungeon you can do with the NPCs before the final one, which they make you do with PCs, was really well done. We actually made it through a one shot on the final dungeon. Even though, like, sometimes we'd have 4 people dead, and it was like, okay, bring them back. But yeah, no, it was really well done, and people are learning new classes, but still gearing up and all that. So
Little changes here and there.
yeah, exactly. But it's fun. So what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on my side of Final Fantasy, yeah, I dove in with Red Mage. They didn't really change much, honestly. So it was pretty much the same old, same old. The only thing that I miss is the button that gave you the extra white magic, black magic charge. Now
Right.
it does something different. Now it's like you just get to use it again if you like. That was kind of like it was a useful wipe recovery. And I guess they realized people were using that as a crutch, so they said, okay, let's get rid of that wipe recovery for you. So now you have to build yourself up like every other class. Again, they want to make sure everyone is equally punished, whereas Red Mage has, like, not only could you bring your friends back up after they die, if you die, it's you just push a button and you're pretty much back where you were.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still very comfy. I too unlocked Viper, found it very flashy and interesting. It has a good visceral feel to it.
It does. It really does.
It has the complexity of Ninja without the
Penalty.
annoyance factor. Yeah, without the bunny penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not so much of the randomized stuff, and I also experimented with Pictomancer. I can see what they're doing with it. It kind of reminds me of the how Summoner has the rotation of rotations.
Right. Yes.
Except you are choosing the rotation this time, so that's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
It took me a while because I like to set up my buttons a certain way, and then it's like, do I set it up this way for Picto? No, that doesn't work either. Because like you hit this one, and then these buttons over here pop up, and you're like, what in the world? Okay, let's try this over here. Nope, no, now they're popping up over here. It's just it took a while because they. And it's an interesting class, and I'm actually kind of surprised that, that might be more of a spoiler. Like I'm surprised they didn't lean on something from not the last one, but the first expansion, not the first expansion, but the first expansion.
Yes.
I'm surprised they didn't lean on that lore, or maybe they will later on. I haven't gotten very far. But Pictomancer, you're painting your imagination into life. It's like,
Wait.
what did we do somewhere
Yes.
that talked a lot about bringing things in your imagination to life? So I'm curious to see if they
If it
lean
goes
more
there.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably why I'm gonna push through with that one. It is an interesting class. I probably found it more interesting than Summoner. Summoner, I never really get into. Like I end up just liking Scholar, and so it gets dragged along with Scholar because they're still bound.
Yeah.
But it was more interesting than Summoner. But I have Red Mage. Red Mage still feels great for me. So it'll be hard to switch back to Picto, and
Yeah.
it already has that slot. But Viper, however, I liked Reaper when Reaper came along, but Viper does feel a bit more fun. It's a bit more mobile. I don't know.
Very
it's
fluid.
interesting.
Yeah. You're right though. It's definitely Ninja without the penalty.
Yeah, and it has
same with
the fun
Monk.
buffs. Yeah.
It's Monk without
Monk
the
is just
penalty.
too much.
Yeah.
Monk is too much. Monk is just I could never get into it. Like I'll basically when I level it just to level it, I'm just pushing a couple buttons and then just to get through.
Yeah.
But no, like Viper is a lot more fun, and it was a lot easier to set up its buttons and whatnot to figure things out. But
Yeah.
and and definitely enjoy the story. I like the setting. I like it's essentially Central and South America. A tiny little bit of a Caribbean-ish stuff, but not too much.
Yeah.
But it's
there's a whole zone
been,
that's Arizona, New Mexico in there.
yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, it's interesting too how they break up the first two zones into two subzones, and that way it's
that was almost
they,
that was almost frustrating for me because I'm like, but once I figured out, okay, because you have 10 ether currents that you can gather by going there, and then you have 5 quests that do it, and so the way they broke it up, where it was, you got 5 in the upper part of the lower part of the zone, however you wanted to do it, and then 2 quests, and then once you got to the second part of the zone later on, then you got the other 5, the remaining 2 quests, and then the culmination of the zone quest gave you the final one. Was really well done. Once I got used to that, I'm like, okay, this nicely boxes in my expectations, so I'm not just running around the map trying to get all 10.
Yeah, and you're also not like, you don't feel like you're trudging through one giant map and just trying to figure things out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other maps that weren't split into seemed a bit smaller, but still better spaced out. So.
Yeah, no, they've gotten a lot really good at their cadence. They're trying to figure all that out. It's it took some learning, but yeah, they have it figured out now. Now they can focus more on the stories because they have all the mechanics kind of figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been that focus. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I've had no story complaints. I really enjoy the main character. I feel like I am, however, still a little disappointed that. There's essentially, and I'm about halfway through the story, and there's definitely 2 missing characters that I've kind of missed, like very strong characters that aren't around, and I can understand why they're not there. I think it's it's just the number, the race of the current main character probably was just, it would be too much of that style of race. Maybe is why they wanted to sideline those 2, and they had. Well, at least one of them had a natural reason to sit on the sideline, and I guess I'll find out why. But the other one was kind of like, oh, okay, I guess they're letting this character that normally stays back and watches over us is finally getting to play. So that was kind of a nice little switch up.
So who have you not run into yet? Because I don't think that's a spoiler from the Scions.
Either of the 2 Scions that don't start the journey with us. I have not run into either of them yet.
Okay. Really? Oh, but you said you're a third of the way through.
A little bit more than that. I'm at 90, 95, 94, 95, somewhere around there.
I'm trying to think when they get introduced.
Well, one of them, when you first start, you see them, but then they don't join.
Right.
They stay behind.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm not.
The
I'm not
second
gonna
one
spoil.
is just not visible at all.
Yeah. Yeah. After the big mood change, that's pretty much the. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to give you an idea, I'm at the first 8-man is where I am right now.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's as Corsair says, there's a big mood swing, and you're like, oh, this person that I thought was this is actually this, and the person that I thought was this is actually what I thought the other person was. So yeah, they did a really good job of mixing up, setting expectations and then subverting them, but in a way that made sense. So you kind of didn't see it coming, but kind of did. And then they bring in the final two in the final zone. So yeah, because there's
which
four,
I figured they would. Like there's
there's
two
four
are
you
such...
don't, there's four you don't start with, and then by the final zone you've got everyone. So.
Yeah. I've met up with two.
Except one. There's still one very important one we have not seen this whole expansion.
Okay. I mean, I know there was one of those characters that went into a business venture, and so she's been busy there. And I still actually have, I think, one or two of her quests from the last expansion to finish. So I need to finish those off. I have a lot of like I just finally finished the Manderville stuff, so I was a little behind. Yeah. But I wanted to get that done because my red mage finally has the Manderville weapon. Then I need to go back and get the Pally version. It's easier now because they're using the Poetics tomestones.
Right.
So it's not quite so much of a challenge. I can just run a couple of the daily roulettes, and then I'll get some tomes, and then I'll be able to upgrade them. So it's pretty nice that way. I think it's probably the first time I've gotten a finished relic weapon is because of how they have it set up.
Oh, really?
Which I know a lot of people complained, this is too easy. It's just grinding for tomestones. But
I didn't find it too easy. I just wasn't willing to put in the time to grind. I'm glad for the people that wanted to grind, it was there. But I did it once, and then I think on my dancer got all the way through, and I think Bard is stage 4 of 6. You know what I mean? They've got it almost upgraded, but they've got 2 more sets of upgrades.
Yeah, that's where my paladin is, where the shield is the red glowy thing that's animated and whatnot.
Oh, but, speaking of which, on the final dungeon of the second to final dungeon of the final zone, the paladin shield and weapon dropped for me, and I'm like, my paladin's level 50. He's never going to be able to use this. So it's on the bank.
Yeah, I keep that one. I keep paladin going. I keep dancer going, which used to be bard, but I don't know. Dancer just got to be a bit more fun for me, so dancer kind of replaced bard.
Yes,
I keep red mage, and then I had reaper, but I might switch that over to
viper.
The viper because it's just it's just a little bit more fun. And I still enjoy reaper, but it's viper is just. It's not just fluid. That it's the flavor. It just feels better. It just
it does.
Reaper was definitely an improvement over Ninja because Ninja was what I used to do for melee.
Oh.
But Reaper improved on that.
Yeah.
And then Viper is just is yet again improving on it. So but that's how I'm going. But that's Final Fantasy. The reason why I'm not all the way done with Final Fantasy is because I've been distracted by Pandemonium, over in the WoW land. So I finally, just the other day, finished the last of the big achievements. So it did take a little bit of grinding. You have to go through. So they have it set up, and if you were to play the entire expansion's quests, you would get all the achievements eventually. It's just set up that way.
Right.
But I went ahead and did a little bit of targeted grinding because you can instead go to the zones, and there's an alternative. If you don't want to do the campaign quests, you can do the rare mobs, the treasures, and exploring. And so I kind of focused on that because that was just, it was faster and more interesting. And I've already, I was already there for Pandaria. I went through all these quests before. The only change, and I totally forgot that I did this, when Pandaria first came out, I was, still very much only on Horde doing AIE stuff.
Right.
So this time around was my first time doing it on an Alliance character.
Oh.
And I was like, there's all these quest lines that I didn't even see because back then it was still very, you have your Horde quests and you have your Alliance quests. So So yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, I had an inkling that you ran around with Anduin, but I did not know what was going on over there because I had never done the Alliance quest line. So for those, at the very least, I did fully finish those. I also did the shield wall stuff. What is it? Shield wall? I think the Alliance kind of PvP-ish area, like PvP light. So yeah, I'd never done that. I did the Horde side of that. So I never saw all those quest lines and saw that side of things. It was at least that was new to me. But then the rest of it, I've already kind of gone through and just like, oh yeah. I did the quest lines that I remember having a lot of fun with. I ran around with Chen and Lily. What else? A little bit of the Calaxy stuff because that was interesting. And then I went all the way through the Shadowpan because I didn't finish Shadowpan when I was doing it back then. But yeah, no, got that all finished, got all the achievements, and now at this point I'm just grinding some of the coins to finish up the transmog because it's a transmog of loops. It's just everywhere. And like I'm still running the raids and still getting new transmog constantly. So, and it's interesting. There actually are a couple of unique transmogs that were never released with Pandaria that they released with Remix. Yeah, and it looks like they polished them up too, because like they are definitely like the newer style of things, but they are like from the old Pandaria stuff. Like there's the water speaker staff, which is this kind of neat like asynchronous staff that's kind of looks like it's, I guess, spaghetti noodles kind of waving off to the side, and then there's a rotating animated orb of water spitting on top of it. And, it's kind of a neat looking staff, and they had these I think they called them braziers, but it was like a staff with essentially tines and then a big fiery thing in the middle. Yeah. So that was another one of the new ones. Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple of unique transmogs to collect, and of course all the mounts and pets and stuff like that. So, and they made it a lot easier to get exalted with the different reputations on the island. I think just because they knew this was a little time limited thing. So yeah, any of those reputations you never got, now's the time to get them because it'll be super easy. Yeah, barely an inconvenience. And you can essentially, once it switches over, because it's going to be like the Diablo seasons. Like once Pandaria is over, they're going to squish your character over into retail. So all that stuff you've just earned, you're now live, and then you'll be able to go back to Pandaria and get onto their. At least I assume they haven't said they weren't going to, but I assume you're going to keep those reputations, and then you can go back to the vendors and buy everything that was exalted that you didn't get the first time around. So
very cool.
And yeah, and that's probably been the big two things. Otherwise, in the real world, summer's just too hot. We have the humidity. We were, to tell you how bad it is here, we were actually disappointed when the hurricane didn't hit us.
Yeah.
We were like, it's like, yes, hurricane's gonna. Wait, where are you going? Hurricane, no, come back.
But we need the rain. Please come in with the rain.
Yes.
But at least the humidity has a reason.
And instead, of course, it went to Houston. Houston does not need to rain. They are constantly hit. So
oh, it's miserable. And
yeah, we have a friend that lives in Houston, and he's running his grandfather's business, and this is the second time that they've lost power. So he's gotten really good at running it from a hotel on hotel Wi-Fi and that sort of thing. Except this time, apparently, when they were doing repairs, they drove a backhoe through one of the fiber lines. So they've had intermittent internet as well. So yeah, it's just, it's a process.
And to add to all that fun, after the hurricane hit Houston, somehow the state lost internet, and everyone's still kind of scratching their heads about how did that happen? So,
well, I think that was related to the fiber cut, honestly.
Yeah, it very, very likely so. But they're still asking, like, how did one fiber cut affect the entire state? Like that, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we know why, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many responses, and none of them are appropriate. So anyway.
Yep.
But But other than that, we're all looking forward to Summer of Love coming. Just as a reminder of what we set up above, we have a lot of fun stuff coming for everyone.
And obviously, we probably don't have the full schedule out right now, so
Not yet.
check Discord. Because there's always a lot of stuff going on through the week in all the different games, D&D, fun events, and of course, Remembrance often happens in a variety of games as well.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep. Each game has their own unique way of doing it that's kind of modeled after the WoW one, but it's everyone's going to have their own way of doing things. I know,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14, they leave from the church and make their way back to the guild hall.
Yep.
Um,
And then
Yeah,
ESO, I think they start at Kenny's house and go through an area. So yeah, just whatever.
So, yeah,
game,
keep an eye
whatever
out.
game you're active in, just watch the Discord.
Yep.
Assuming that we're here in 2 weeks, we'll probably have a little bit more information for you.
We'll certainly try.
Yep.
Yes. But I believe that's enough out of us.
Enough nonsense.
Yes. Enough sense, enough nonsense. So that'll be our show for tonight. While the chat room hopefully begins suggesting lovely new show titles for us, we want to thank ourselves for joining ourselves. So thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Yay. Thank you.
All right. And if you have questions or comments about our show, you can email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can find us on the AIE Discord and other non-Twitter social media. We record live with video every other Sunday, approximately, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along on our website, aie-guild.org. Look for podcast live stream. And look for the link in our Discord server at aie-guild.org. For past events, go to the YouTubes and type in the AIE Podcast. Our theme was, of course, composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website, andrewallenmusic.com.
And if we had any member segments, we would drop them here. So nothing this week, but again, 90 to 120 seconds recorded on audio. Send us an idea in text. Send it via email. Whatever you want to do. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
And next time we'll be talking to someone about something. Maybe we'll try to drag WoW in here and have them talk about things that are...
Yes,
Well,
after
Final
because
Fantasy.
of the
Summer of
pre-patch.
Love.
Yep.
Yeah. It could just be a Summer of Love. What's going to come. So we'll see. So until then, this is Mukau.
This is Makala.
This is Tetsemi.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Huzzah!
Yay. All right.
Great show, team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how we're like, well, it's awesome. We'll have a short show tonight, and we managed to do the full show, which I am not surprised.
No, because
Yeah.
you and I can talk.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And-
Which I think it actually worked out really well because, given with Final Fantasy 14 coming out,
Yeah.
with a Dawn Trail, that's perfect. A reason to have just a host show you guys can.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll probably give it a month. So not next podcast, but the one after that, we'll probably dig into at least a couple of the zone stories to go through. So
Awesome.
Yeah, all the raids will be out by then, and I
Yeah.
think yes, the Tuesday the first of the non-savages, and then a couple weeks after that is supposed to be when the savages hit. So
Yep.
or is it 1 week? I forget if it's 1 or 2. I always forget.
yeah.
But yeah, that's when the hardcore will be really digging in and shaking things loose. So
Yeah.
probably see a little bit of activity.
All right. Well, thank you, chat room, for joining us. Y'all have a good time in whatever games you're playing in video or real life or board games. So
Yep, absolutely.
See you later.
Thank you all.